seems to be a lifelong struggle because they felt so devalued, and it's hard to restore that sense of value and go, wow, somebody, the one who made all of this, looks at me and loves me and would willingly die and forgive me for all of the junk that's been in my life. That's amazing. But then once you go, oh my, he cares that much for me. Really? That's amazing. And if he cares that much for me, how can I in the world look down on another person and not see that same value on them? That's our problem. That's been our problem since the beginning. Being restored and seeing that value. That's what the real bill looks like. All these other problems, all these counterfeit ways of attaining fulfillment and trying to feel special at other people's expense, that's all counterfeit. That does not work. It does not bring joy. It does not bring fulfillment. And, you can never burn down enough cities to actually feel like, oh, wow, we finally made it. You can't devalue enough people. I mean, be it racial, be it family, be it at your work, be it other nations, be it whatever. We can never get a sense of joy and fulfillment by devaluing others. So the thing with looking at others' wrongs again, because others have certainly done wrong. The thing we want to do is to try to look from God's perspective on that. It may be very difficult personally, and we need something new. We need a different perspective, not just to be focused on the wrong and be bitter about it. But if we look at God's perspective towards us and towards the others, what we want to do is think what he thinks, see what he sees, feel what he feels, so then we can do what he does, right? And I borrowed that from Leif Hetland. We want to think what he thinks, see what he sees, feel what he feels, so that we can do what he does. And when he thinks about us, he thinks he already saw all the wrong in the world taken away on Jesus on the cross, right? And anybody that aligns with that, they're going to more and more see themselves as, oh my, all of my wrong stuff has been taken away. I've been given every blessing in the heavenly places in Christ. And the more we see that, the more we affirm what he's declared to be true, the more our lives are going to be changed and the more we're going to value others. So the first thing is seeing all of my wrong and then everybody else's wrong, that God cared enough and valued us enough to take that wrong and to take it away. And he says, I'm not going to mention it again. Not going to mention it again. I'm going to keep telling you how right you are, how right you are, how right you are, how right I've made you, how lovingly I see you, how I think about you, how I just get excited like a puppy dog when its owner comes home, just jumping and wagging. I mean, where'd that come from? God made the puppy dog, right? So he's like, that's how I think. That's how I see you. That's how I feel about you. Like, I think it's been very, very rare that any parent has held their first child, been placed in their arms and they didn't see it with value, unless there's something very broken in them personally. But I've asked many people that, and nobody's ever said, no, I didn't believe that child had infinite value the moment I saw them. And so that's how he sees it. That's how he feels about us. And when we get that, when we can marinate our minds and our hearts in that, then start valuing ourselves more, regardless, even no matter how many mistakes we've made, no matter how far we've got to go, we can go, oh, wow, I'm that valuable. I've got a great start. I'm starting at the finish line. I'm starting right? I'm not working my tail off to get to the finish line. I'm starting at the finish line. And now with that heavy weight off, now let me see what I can do. How I can develop myself. How I can help other people, right? And then as that starts sinking in, it's going to be shared. It's going to spread. We're going to want to spread it. We're going to be, oh man, wow, look at your value. Look at your gifts. Look at what you can do. Look at your ideas. Look at how you can change the world. Look at how you can lift up other people. And that's going to give the joy and fulfillment. That's exactly where it's going to come from. So I just wanted to share a couple of verses. But just before I do that, I want to give a couple of thoughts that are very, very helpful to me when I see other people, even if they're doing crazy stuff or bad stuff. It's still helpful to put this out into the universe, to speak these things and to think these things. And so because of God's heart for them that he's revealed in Christ, I can look at them and I can say, that is the person with infinite value. I can very quietly and calmly look in the mirror and say, there is the person with infinite value. I'm watching myself in the camera right now, so I'm talking to myself. I'm saying, there's the guy with infinite value. And all the other people, everyone I meet, I can say, there's the person with infinite value. You don't have to know anything about them, but I can know that they're infinitely valuable, that they're fearfully and wonderfully made, right? And that they have potential. They may not see it, but then there's my job to develop myself to help them see it, right? And then there's, I can also say, that's the person seated with Christ in the heavenly places. There's a verse that says that we're seated with Christ in the heavenly places. God, there's no higher level or value that he can see us with and that he can place us at. He's going, I want you to see yourself here and live from that place. I want you to live from that place, from that exalted place, even though you may be in depressed circumstances. I want you to see yourself as in an exalted place with my love and my heart for you. And then the other thing I can say is there's the person that has been made perfect forever. We're told that also. It's amazing. I know it's hard to believe. It can take some years. Let me tell you, and it can be a daily struggle to get this thinking in. But, the more we feed that, the better we're going to be. The more second nature it's going to come. The more easily we're going to identify with it. That's why it's important to think on, because what comes out is going to be what we put in. And heaven help you, if all you put in is the news and things like that, it's like you're going to have some negative thinking, you're going to have some dark thinking, you're going to have some stressed out, worried thinking going on, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So the couple of passages. Colossians 3 says, you used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived. And I'm going to lump in devaluing people, racism, all the bad stuff that's happened in the world and the way we look at one another. I'm going to lump all of that in. We used to walk in the way we once lived, But now you must rid yourself of all such things, such as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, filthy language from your lips. Don't lie to each other, since you've taken off that old self with its practices. But you put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge to the image of its creator, reconciliation to the creator. And that's what's happening now. It's like, wow, that was the old self that didn't understand, didn't see value in myself or others, and here's the new self, being renewed in knowledge, right thinking to the image of its creator, and its creator sees value, thinks value, feels value, and adds value, right? Okay, so here there is no Jew or Greek. Those were some of the rivaling factions back in the day in races. There is no Jew or Greek, no circumcised or uncircumcised, no barbarian, Scythian, slave or free. There's no distinctions. There's no class distinctions. There's no racial distinctions. But it says, but Christ is all and in all. And if we come in the middle right there and go, wow, look at what he's done for me. Look at the love that he's loved for me. Look at the sacrifice he's made for me. And boy, it's hard. It's hard to look at that and be pointing a finger at somebody else at the same time. Okay. And then we're told to clothe ourselves as God's chosen people, holy, dearly loved, clothe ourselves with compassion, with humility, kindness, gentleness, and patience. That's to be our new defining characteristics as a result of what we think, see, feel. That's what we're going to do. We got all the other on the inside. So that's how it's going to express itself. Then it says, I like this verse, it says, bearing with one another and forgiving whatever grievance you may have. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. But that bearing with one another, I looked it up in an expanded Greek translation. It actually means up with one another. Because all God's children got issues, right? We've all got something that somebody else is going to have to put up with. We may be strong in one area, doing great things, but we might be proud of it. We might be weak in other areas, and there's people have to put up with us too. So we're all learning and we're all growing. So the idea is help each other, not find fault with each other and put each other down. It says, over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. And I want to share this. This is the other passage I want to share about love. This is very familiar. Heard it at a lot of weddings. I'm sure you've heard it, whether or not you read the Bible, because it's pretty common out there. And it says, Paul is writing to his friends in Corinth, and he says, "If I speak with the tongue of angels, but I don't have love, I have become a noisy gong or a cymbal." I picture that as trash can lids getting, beaten together. It's just making a lot of noise, but it's not doing anything. Um, if I have the gift of prophecy and I know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, that's a lot of faith. um, but I don't have love, I'm nothing. If I give all my possessions to feed the poor and give my body to be burned like a martyr, but I don't have love, I don't gain anything. I don't gain anything. The only thing we gain is from loving each other. And here's the definition of love. And this is brilliant. This is worth putting in our minds on a regular basis. And it encourages me to do so even more, these particular verses. It says, love is patient. Love is kind. And that means useful. It's like the flow of a mother's milk to her newborn baby. It's good to build up and to strengthen and to nourish. Love is kind. It's not jealous. It doesn't brag. It's not arrogant. It's not always, oh, I'm right and everybody else is wrong, right? So it takes the time to listen and get their perspective and understand with compassion. It doesn't act unbecomingly. It doesn't seek its own. It's not provoked. It doesn't take into account a wrong suffered. Wow, it's talking about forgiveness. We're stepping down from that throne of judgment and going, that's not my place. It's not saying that the wrong was right, but it's saying I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to put myself in the judgment seat. That's not my place. I wasn't created for that. It doesn't rejoice in unrighteousness, in wrong things that aren't right, but it rejoices with the truth, like what I'm trying to put out today. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things. I love that one. So we're in a season now where you can use some hope. Hopes all things and endures all things. And love never fails. We all as people, we fail in a lot of ways, and we know that's true if we think about it a little bit. There's people we failed ourselves, we failed our best purpose and development, but love never fails. God's love has never failed. It takes all the wrong of the world, dies for it, and gives us this perfect standing. And the more we see that, the more we value our own worth to our Creator, the more we're going to value the creation of the other people around us and celebrate their beauty, their uniqueness, their gifts, their talents, their abilities, their differences, and the more we're going to love them. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can reach me at Jeff Byrd Coaching. If you got any comments, questions, anything else you'd like me to talk about here, maybe we can even bring in some guests and have some discussions on things. But I hope today has been valuable. And until next time, God bless you.